Welcome to the 5 YouTube channel. It's myself, Culture Cams. Today I am joined on my left by James Redmond. How are you, man? You good?
Lad. Marvellous. Couldn't be better.
And of course, I'm joined by the regular Joel Beya. How are you?
Listen, North London Derby champions, top of the league. You already know what it is. About to beat Liverpool this weekend. It's good times, man. It's good times.
And today we're going to get into the combined 11 of the two teams, of course, that these guys both represent, Liverpool and Arsenal. One team on absolutely dreadful form. The other team flying at the moment.
Come on, you Gunners!
This feels new. Arsenal at the top, Liverpool struggling. I feel like I'm in an alternate world, but this one's going to be super interesting to me because I'm sure you're going to stand your ground for player quality. You're going to be going on form. So I really...
I will for sure still get more Liverpool players in this combined 11.
Can we not do form? Because
of course you can.
Because if you talk about ability,
I was going to ask about the premise. Surely it's got to be a little bit of both into one.
It's going to be a both.
You say that, but then you're going to start using it.
For instance, I don't know.
Don't give away nothing. Don't give away nothing until we get into it.
Let's start with
Listen, I don't want to put too much rules into this. I want it to be a free for all.
No, come on.
You fight your ground. You fight your ground.
He wants the easiest premise to what's going to suit him in this video. He knows who he's coming up against. You know what I mean? He knows verbally he's going to struggle. So let's see how it goes.
All right. So you guys both happy to go with the 4-3-3. I set it up in a 4-3. Are we happy with that?
I'm cushy with that.
Yeah.
Happy with that?
Yeah, I'm happy with
that. Yeah? Okay, cool. So we can start. We'll start from the goalkeeper.
I'll give this one to James because I think this is probably going to be the hardest one, if I'm honest.
I feel like it's the easiest one. I think Alisson over Ramsdale is undisputed. I think Alisson's been the only goalkeeper, or actually the only Liverpool player this season to remain and actually hold the same standards the previous seasons. Exactly. And when it comes to a stylistic approach, because I see that this is the board that you use with Rio and you like to break it down tactically, I think, look at him, Buzz, he's like, yeah, my board. But I do think Alisson has got the hardest style of play for a goalkeeper. Someone who's constantly got that high line in front of him. Somebody who always has to make those one-on-one saves. I would go with the argument that one-on-one saves is the hardest thing to do for any goalkeeper. So for sure, he goes in goal for me.
And that's why I said it's the hardest one, because that's the only one that I can't really finesse, if I'm honest with you. Despite Liverpool not doing so well, I can see an argument. He is probably the only player that's looked half decent in that team,
The draws that we've got, we don't even get those draws without Alisson.
Exactly.
We could have lost 6-3 against Brighton.
Yeah. And as much as I'm a Ramsdale fan, I have seen a few mistakes here and there this season. I thought, got to be careful there. To the point where I don't think he even warrants an England starting position. Okay. Like before, I would have said, yeah, you know what, get him in, he's the one. But right now, so far, it's been a bit iffy.
Fair enough. So we can go with Alisson. I think that's pretty straightforward as well. I agree with you guys. Right back, what an area that people have been speaking about so much, because
I'll take this one, mate.
Trent,
it's got to be Ben White, man. Like, I don't even see Ben White as a right back, like predominantly, but I feel like Trent, who as much of a good player he is, we love him going forward. No one can assist like him in the Premier League. Like, I mean, in terms of like supplying balls and stuff like that, besides KDB. I look and I just think, what on earth have you been doing going backwards, son? There's been moments where he's literally giving away the ball, strolling back. And I think it's a disrespect that Ben White weren't even called up to the England team. You know? So for me, and you can see that's a guy that, he could have, maybe he's complaining behind closed doors, but it doesn't look like it on the pitch. He's gone from playing centre back. Saliba's come back. They've shifted him out wide right back, and now you're seeing great quality. I saw him against Spurs, and I thought, oh, son, do you know what I mean? You're really, really playing well, and he was one of the best players on the pitch as well.
And you think about it, Tomiyasu came in, and he can't get back in the team because of Ben White at right back. So that's a big credit to him.
Tomiyasu's out here doing appearances, like cameo appearances, man. Do you know what I mean? You think he's on a dance floor dancing, just doing cameo, bruv? Like, it's not happening for him. So yeah, it's got to be Ben White.
James, I have a feeling that you're not happy with that one. Who are you going with? Trent or Ben White?
You get what you're given in this world, don't you? You know what I mean? You get what you're given. I remember I had a teacher in primary school get on this. So they were passing around ice cream for the day. We're all from Kirkdale, we're all skin, so we're taking what we can get, right? Yeah. What I'm going to say is, I was saying to the teacher, Miss, am I all right to have strawberry? Or she passed me a chocolate one, and I don't mind chocolate ice cream, like belted ice cream. Not better than strawberry though, in my humble opinion. Yeah. To conclude, I asked the teacher, am I all right to have a strawberry? And she said, you get what you're given. In this case, I have got a right back who has been really heavily out of form. In any other world where you were trying to compare Ben White to Trent Alexander-Arnold, then I'd say that you're high on some mad substances. But in this case for this combined 11. I'll go
You have
with
to
it.
agree.
We're actually going to agree with
We have
Ben
to.
White.
It's true.
I thought I was going to have to step in there. All right,
As a footballer, though, Trent is so clear to Ben White.
So going Alisson, Ben White. All right, we're going to go on the right side of defense. Okay, you guys can put in.
It's got to be.
So
I'm sorry. I'll take this one, Culture. I'll take this one,
Here we
Killer
go.
Cam. It's got to be the one and only Mr. William Saliba. I mean, seriously, amazing performances this season. You've seen the arguments that I have with Rio back and forth on Viable Fire, but even himself, I saw him on BT with Cesc Fabregas, and he was like waxing lyrical about him, man, because he's been that good. You know, he's come back. I spoke to you offline, and you don't really agree with anything I say, but you had to agree, and you said Saliba, that's a top class player there, composed. You know, I keep saying the way he carries the ball out, he starts a lot of our play. I haven't seen someone take control of our defense like that since. I don't know.
Campbell,
maybe Koscielny, I would say.
I'm having him over Koscielny.
No, I think.
I was never really a big fan of Koscielny.
I think he's a good defender. I think on the ball, though, he's good as well. You know, 2 years left on the contract. I need this tied up, man, because this guy is going straight to Barca or Real. And it's not hard to go to Barca or Real at the moment. So, yeah, Saliba all the way.
You going with anyone else? You guys got Konate, you got
Konate's being injured. Matip's being injured. Gomez is being crap.
Yeah.
So, lads,
Did you say Naldini?
Nathaniel Dini, Van Phillips, no, for sure. As much as I think we've got decent shouts, and as much as I think William Saliba will be world class. He could also be just a Joe Gomez 2.0. Joe Gomez was winning Premier Leagues at that age. But Joe Gomez was winning Premier Leagues at that age, and you know everyone was talking about Joe Gomez to be the next Ferdinand and whatnot.
I don't know who you've been talking to.
At the time,
maybe up in Liverpool. But not down here in London.
At the time, it was a prominent conversation. What Joe Gomez was a belter that season.
Good player, but I don't know about the real comparisons.
Not now. Nowhere near now. But at that time, I'm just saying you don't want to exceed the hype too much. What I'll say about William Saliba, this season he deserves to be in the team, but the person who's got to be next to him has got to be Virgil van Dijk. And the reason why I say it's got to be him,
default.
I understand it is kind of default, but it is also to do with the fact that we haven't been collectively good as a unit. You can't just be going off the basis of how we played as a team for this starting 11, otherwise there's no point in having me here. Virgil van Dijk is still well better than all your centre-backs.
But that's not the reason why. It's because Gabriel has been at fault of 3 of our goals. If he wasn't, then he would be ahead of Virgil.
And Gabriel's also overrated as a centre-back, so that's another reason why I'd say Virgil van Dijk goes in there.
Yeah, Van Dijk, I think that is there on name brand. You know what I mean?
But he's also been better than Gabriel this season. He's still, yeah, for sure. William Saliba's been carrying him, and also I'd say if it weren't Gabriel, I'd say Joel Matip, even though he's only played 2 games.
Yeah, maybe I'm a Matip kind of guy.
One, you know?
Left back, let's go.
Well,
so we've gone Saliba, we've gone Van Dijk. Left back,
Andrew Robertson. Andrew Robertson.
He ain't been better than Zinchenko.
Best left back in the world.
Are you serious? You think so?
Who, Andrew Robertson? Over the past few seasons, I'd suggest that. I think over the past few seasons. And I don't think he's been as bad as the rest of the bunch. So I think when you look at it from an energetic point of view, which we haven't been running this season, he seems to be the only one who remains to have those legs. And he's still creating chances. It's just no one's getting on the ends of them. So
yeah, I've got to disagree with you there. I think Zinchenko deserves to be there. I think even just looking at his performance, against, you know, Tottenham, and there's been other performances.
What happened to Kolasinac?
He's gone now.
Arsenal bougie now. You know?
But yeah, Zinchenko, he's been one of the factors of Arsenal's change of form this season. Of course, him, Jesus, you know, like for me. But Zinchenko, you can see calm on the ball. I was never a fan of him too much at City prior to the last 2 years. Before that, I just thought, who is he? Not a good player. But I was actually really excited and happy when we got him, because he can play football, he's good technically, and I think this season he's had a brilliant start, you know, to the point where I'm like, you know, Robinson who? Really?
So you guys got to decide on that one though, the left back.
If we can't decide, the audience has to decide.
All right, we'll leave that for the audience. That left back, we've got Robertson and we've got Zinchenko.
Let us know.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. That's an interesting one, because
so
Zinchenko...
mad what 6 weeks a decent foot he can get.
Yeah, but
so crazy.
Zinchenko is
a man who couldn't even get into
IG.
Manchester City's team, and Robertson was the man who was literally competing on the same points level as Manchester City and being a crucial part.
No, we're not saying... For
some reason, Zinchenko deserves to be above Robertson. But even based on this season,
this season though,
has been been really, really good. We're in an age where systematically teams are more beneficial based on system. Robertson has still been individually very sound. He's not been great, but Zinchenko has been very sound within his system. I still think Robertson goes above.
That's why the audience.
We'll leave that for the audience. Zinchenko or
treating this like court.
Or Andrew Robertson. I'm actually super interested in this defensive midfield position because I think you both got good players in that position. Of course, the 6th role, Thomas Partey or Fabinho.
I got to fight for Partey this season. I think, he's the thing with him is you've got to be careful because you know that he could not play at any time. But I think for the times that he has played, he's been solid. And again, just looking back at the last game against Spurs, it felt like Patrick Vieira was playing. Honestly, no. I'm being honest. I'm being honest. Not the same style of play.
This party is supposed to start at 8 o'clock. It's 12 a.m. now.
What I mean by that is someone taking control of the game and someone controlling the pace of the game. Yes, Xhaka got man of the match, but I was glad to see that for Arsenal on our website and for the club, Partey got man of the match. And I think I was arguing with Rio and I thought, I don't know what game these people are watching, especially with that Xhaka mistake, mate. Nah. Whether he played well or not, and he's had a good turnaround. Partey, for me, he was switching the ball left, right, and centre, long, short, across, tackling, great energy. Honestly, for me, he has to go in that role.
I think based on the case study that you've just used, Thomas Partey isn't the worst shout. Based on the case study that I'd like to use, I think that he hasn't even been your most important nor influential midfielder in your midfield 3 this season. I think Granit Xhaka has been top class ever since he's been moved to the number 8. And that's something that I never saw myself saying because I didn't know if Granit Xhaka was going to be able to achieve those levels. When you look at our midfield, for instance, I think Fabinho has been the most important ever present there. He hasn't been great week in, week out, again, due to the fact that he's had multiple different midfield partners. But I think when you look at the overall job that he's done, he's probably stopped us from losing more games than what we've ended up drawing. And I think he is important towards that, and it should not be ignored how much importance that his presence alone brings. So as much as Thomas Partey is a decent player and it's about time that he started showing it, I've got to go for Fabinho myself. I'm not going to lie to you.
I actually think that's a really, really close one because Partey, I think, finally, he is starting to show his level that we saw at Atletico Madrid, and I do think he's actually Arsenal's most important player. You guys didn't have him against us, you lost. I do. I think if he comes out the team, I think Arsenal, Lokonga, the level is too much. It's too much, and I'm not trying to disrespect him.
I understand the gap.
The gap is, you let Odegaard go, Fabio Vieira, he can maybe something. You let Saka maybe come in. But that Lokonga to Partey one, I think is just
the gap is too much.
It's too much. So I think he's the most important. Similar in a way with you guys as well, because I don't know about Henderson in the 6 anymore. I know ever since
Fabinho's joined, that's been his position.
So it is a tough one. I don't even know.
Shall we give it to the audience again?
Give it to the audience again. Partey or Fabinho in a combined Liverpool 11.
Definitely get the audience involved. But if you had to choose one, who would you choose for that CDM?
I'll be honest. Right now, I would choose Partey.
Obviously, if the season had world-class performance against Tottenham, which was long overdue.
Yeah,
but
it's hard. Do you know what? Actually, do you know what? To be actual fair. Because at the start of the season, I was having him in discussions like, you have Rodri, Casemiro and stuff, and then you're probably looking at like Fabinho, maybe 3rd, 4th, maybe 5th. So I would actually go Fabinho. But let me see it for longer with Thomas Partey.
So what did you just...
I'll go Fabinho.
Mate, you just made a
Partey's been fantastic, but I'll go for Fabinho. No, because I'm not going to go on recent form. I'm not going to go on recent
Why
form.
are you salty, bruv? Fabinho is world class.
No. In all honesty,
I don't understand. No, we know Fabinho's a better player. I agree with you there. I'm talking about right now. Yeah. For this combined 11.
Oh, if you're talking about current form, but that's not the discussion. It's not all about current form. Because Van Dijk wouldn't be in a team in current form.
Otherwise, why have you got me
the majority of Liverpool players on this board then?
No, not
but
really.
Even off the premise of this season,
majority, not all.
What we seem to be neglecting is that if we were playing it, I don't know, if we were doing a Brighton one, they'd probably get more players than what I'd be getting.
It's not our fault.
Based on the premise and
Trossard would be there, innit?
Based on premise and systems and importance to that, Liverpool have been terrible this season. We've been drawing mega games.
This is why I'm enjoing this.
The reason, you know what,
no, we are. Without Fabinho, a lot of those draws would be losses and we'd be chilling with Everton in 18th. So we are. Based on that premise, because we have to have some sort of boundary here. You know what I mean? We can't just be saying anyone can go anywhere. Fabinho, for me, has been more important to us. I think we would be lower without Fabinho than where you'll be without Partey.
You said that about Alisson, though, so pick a choice, please.
Oh,
No,
yeah,
but-
you can have more than one player who's shown significantly more importance.
I would
not a
go
one-man team, Joe.
Fabinho because of what I've seen previously and stuff. You guys gave Ben White ahead of Trent. You know,
But,
what I mean,
but I think anyone would have put Ben White there ahead of Trent.
I would have put
What?
Trent.
On four?
but Trent is just a better
Come
right back.
on,
You know what I
mate.
mean? So I would have
He's
put
just
Trent.
Leave it
better right
out,
back.
Keith.
So-
I think we
so-
know, but come
So
on.
I think because I'm going overall as well, I'm taking form into consideration. But I'd
What
go
about these two?
these two. I
Go
know
on, you
mine.
might as well do them both at the same time.
Thiago Alcantara goes in one of them. Different team with him in the side.
So you're going 100% Thiago in the
Thiago's
midfield
one
position.
of them.
You?
In fact, you know what? I've
you
actually got
accept
two
Thiago?
shouts here, but I'll go
Yeah,
with
but
Thiago first.
I'm a big Thiago fan. Like you
same.
see, for me, so it's almost like it's biasness. I know it doesn't make sense, but yeah, I will put him in because I just think that guy, win, lose or draw, he has to
Baller.
be in your team. Like he's something special. The only player that I look at in the Premier League and I think can achieve those kind of levels or maybe higher is KDB.
And he's more advanced, isn't
Yeah,
he? When you look at
exactly.
the specific type of player that
just
he
the
is.
way, like the way he
Plays
does
game.
everything. Even last time I got to see him was in the Community Shield, and just the way he takes the step and he does the little fake. And
Aesthetically, he's too
for
nice.
me-
The closest thing technically to what we're getting to seeing like an Iniesta in the Prem or the Xavi
You know
in the
what?
Prem.
That's
It's the
a-
closest thing that we're
yes,
getting to it.
yes.
All right, so we can agree with Thiago in this one.
Odegaard.
No, not Granit Xhaka.
No.
Okay, now
Okay, what
even
about you?
I'm not into that. I'm happy to give you one of the players. I was going to
Yeah.
say Harvey Elliott based on the fact that he's been our best
Odegaard.
centre midfielder this season, but I don't think he's been better than Odegaard. And I think Granit Xhaka's been more important than
No,
Odegaard for your team.
yes, but I feel like Granit Xhaka's doing stuff that he should be doing, and that's why he's getting the props. You know, I feel like it's because he's been so bad in the past. Now that he's doing like normal stuff, it's like, oh, well done. People are ignoring the fact that the reason why Tottenham got a penalty in the first place is before Gabriel was out there making rash challenges, he was trying to control it in the box. Bro, I'm not having, I know that's a different part of the pitch, but I'm not having that. I know he's still got that within him. You know, we could be playing Liverpool and he could lose his head or whatever, but I think Odegaard has stepped up. I had Rio here earlier on in the season going, oh yeah, I think, you know, the armband's too much for Odegaard. Bruv, you saw him against Man United.
I rate
Do you know what I
Odegaard.
mean? Like, absolute baller. You know, we had a discussion on WhatsApp and I was just like, I didn't know he was at so many trials and spoke to a few like agents and they were like, he's the real deal, give him a few years. And finally, I think he's found his home and he's shown a high form of class. Even if you look at the goal that we scored during the United game, it came from his pass. Bro.
Yeah, no, I rate Odegaard. I think it's going. So you were saying maybe Harvey Elliott, but you can concede Odegaard.
I'll concede Odegaard. No, based on this, don't disrespect Harvey Elliott. He's been really good in our midfield.
I like him as a player, but he ain't no Odegaard.
Talented midfielder to step into our midfield, the state that it's been in. I think it's impressive what he's done. Odegaard's importance, however, has been more significant for me. So I'd
Do you
edge
think
Odegaard too.
Elliott is a better player than Odegaard?
Oh no. I think
I was just
Odegaard.
checking.
I think Odegaard.
Just checking.
Nah, you were just trying to get the clip.
No, I was
saw what you were trying to-
I was checking because I don't know.
He saw you sitting opposite him on the table. Odegaard is terrific, and there's a reason. You know, you don't just get meaty players who play for Real Madrid and he somehow ends up having no first touch. He's got a great first touch. He's a great dribbler. He's got a shot on him as well. He's a great passer of the ball. From an all-round number 10, he's got everything that I want. So
Yeah, I rate Odegaard. Left wing role. This attack is going to be interesting actually. The left
Easy.
wing.
the Colombian sensation Luis Diaz, the
What,
only
this
man who's been
season?
scoring goals in our
So?
team. So what's the one thing Liverpool have struggled with
Insignificant
most?
goals on top of that
so
as
yeah,
well.
you say insignificant goals. We would have lost to Crystal Palace without the insignificant goal where Luis Diaz decided to tether 4 individuals and slot it into the corner. If that is what you call insignificant, then I might need to Google and sort of reassess the definition of what that word means. We've been struggling to score goals this season, yay or nay?
You must
Yeah,
be
your
you
name's
must
a
be the
simple
Brazilian manager because you're probably the person who picked
I'd say my
Diaz
Portuguese is fairly decent.
dropped Martinelli.
I'd say my Portuguese
Yeah,
is fairly
he's
decent.
Colombian. He's Colombian.
Oh,
He's
sorry, my
Colombian.
bad. Clip
Yeah.
that out. Clip that out. Sorry, my bad. Martinelli for me. It has to be Martinelli.
So you're telling me that Martinelli, the man who this season has been sound.
You can't say sound.
He's been
His
sound.
levels have gone up since Gabriel
He's been sound.
Jesus has come.
He's been
alright,
okay.
and
This is the Man United in him.
Okay.
This is the
Don't
Man
worry about
United in
Joel,
him.
he's got 5-star skill moves, gives us full points, brother. You know the score, lad. But Luis Diaz has got 6-star skill moves, probably got more goal contributions this season, and on top of
Can't
that,
say probably. Bring out the facts only, please. Let's not do this.
Facts. Emphasises the importance of us needing to score goals. And before, when I tried to give you facts, you were trying to say that they were insignificant. So it seems like one moment you don't mind facts, the next moment
What were insignificant?
you're not really
Which
on-
ones?
The ones where I was talking about, because I mentioned how he's our top goal scorer and been scoring goals for us this season in an attack that hasn't been scoring goals, and you said that was insignificant.
But one of the reasons why we're top of the league is not only Jesus's goals.
Because you're playing good as a football team, that's why you're top of the league.
Yeah, but on top of that, his levels have gone up, man. Like he's been better than Saka this season.
But my levels can go up. It doesn't mean I'm better than anyone, you know what I mean? Like, you can improve as a player, but it doesn't mean you're better than this player.
I don't even think Diaz is as good as he was last season, if I'm honest.
You're only because he's been in the worst team, so it can be like that. But he's actually still, through the lower form that you've mentioned, still scoring goals, still running past players, and still being important to our side.
I'm not saying he's not important to your side at all.
If you remove Martinelli out of your team, you're not that much worse.
No, but I can't say
that.
Whereas
when we lose Luis Diaz, you see what happened against Brighton, where we were 2 goals down in the first 20 minutes. We were able to get one back before half time. As he comes on,
but he means a lot to you lot, because you lot are rubbish at the moment. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying with Martinelli, what he gives our team, right? Yeah. The levels that he's raised since Gabriel Jesus has come has been unbelievable. He looks like a complete brand new player.
Based on this premise then, based on how we've been playing, more than useless, correct? More than useless, terrible. Luis Diaz. So say if you've got a year 10s team and a year 11s team, the year 10s team are really, really good at football and have got a bunch of good players, and then you've got the year 11s team who have just got this one sound kid, some South American fella who can do some 6 skill moves and score goals. You will talk about how important he is to that team. And I would say, based on last season, if you ask the question, Martinelli or Diaz, a lot of people would say Diaz. And I think if you say this season, the only one who's been performing in a very, very below par front 3, Joel, just concede it. It's Luis Diaz.
You gotta give this one to the audience.
I mean, I can't lie. I gotta agree with James, man. Luis Diaz. You look at first and foremost. I think
look on his face. He knows how he agrees.
I think you're overrating Martinelli a little bit, and also he's overrating him. Yeah,
statement, by the way.
And like you look at the way Martinelli
about form, by the way, not as a player.
I'm talking about form. I'm talking about form as well.
Yeah, I think you're overstating it a little bit. You look at the way Martinelli plays the game. Look at the way Diaz plays the game, and it's honestly like Diaz is like Martinelli 2.0. That's how I look at him. You know what I mean? Both aggressive, can press, both take on players.
Diaz is a better player.
Diaz is
overall.
Better. Yeah,
I'm not arguing that.
But even off this season without Diaz, we'd be 17th. Without Martinelli, you'd be still in top 4.
I don't know about that, man.
I think Martinelli's been decent, but I think you're making it like
he's been very.
So you think without Martinelli, you'd be significantly lower in the table without him in the team?
Not really, but that's not the argument here, though. It's who's been better. It's who's been better this season in general. Just because he's been better for you, yeah. But so it doesn't matter. It doesn't take away from Martinelli's performances, though. You
can't just exclude that factor.
It's a factor, but it's not the main factor.
I'm going Luis Diaz. You're going Luis Diaz. You're going Martinelli. But we'll leave it to the audience as we cannot decide definitively. So Luis Diaz or Martinelli for the left-hand side. I'm going to jump to the right-hand side. This is interesting because you're saying your guy's not really in form, but your guy is really not in form. So are we going Bukayo Saka or are we going Mohamed Salah? Do
you know what's funny?
It's not really a conversation.
I think by default we go for Saka.
Saka.
Well, if you're talking form,
by default, you said default. If it's default,
I was going to say like if you're saying overall, like
no. By default this season,
okay,
not default overall,
okay.
By default this season, you go Saka. I'm looking at form, by the way. I think you lot are looking at.
I'm a mixer. I think you're not super form because you're Arsenal fan.
Yeah, I have to. I'm doing form because otherwise, this whole board here, do you know what I mean? Like, would be flipping Alisson, Trent, Robinson. Like, it will be Liverpool. So I'm looking at form here, and I don't think Saka's really hit the forms. I feel like Martinelli has really been our saviour on the wings this season. I'm not saying that Saka hasn't done anything. Obviously, he's contributed and stuff like that, but I think Salah's just been so poor. Like,
I agree. Compared to so poor. What I'm going to say to argue
2 league goals
Salah is that what I will say about Salah is that even with a huge drop off, I think when you hold him to the standards of what he was getting, which is a lot of people were saying, in that current moment, best Premier League player in that period of time, like 30 goals a season. I think when you hold him to those standards, he's going to look way worse than what he has been. And he hasn't been good recently. And I would go with Saka. But it's very important that Saka still hasn't really hit the heights that he probably should have this season.
100%.
And Salah is just... He's nowhere near to what he was.
That's why I said by default, by default this season. Up top.
So wait, who are we going with? Saka.
Saka.
We're going Saka up front. Hey,
What?
I'm living in a good time.
You would have picked Salah.
Hey, mate,
Would
I
you
won.
pick Salah?
I'm not saying none. I'll take
No,
whoever you guys want.
No, who would you pick?
I don't mind taking Saka. I do think that since he hasn't been that good this season, I would pay a little bit more respect to what Salah's done. But I am.
Yeah, but we're not doing form.
I am perfectly happy not to have.
I'm not doing form. We're doing form. Sorry, I'm doing form.
I'm perfectly happy to not have Mo Salah in there.
Like,
I've told
you're
people
doing whatever
about
suits
that,
you.
But listen, up top,
it's the battle of the Brazilians, and I still loses because Gabriel Jesus has been sensational since he's joined. Proper superstar. Seems like that meme. And when you talk, like, the way you make Gabriel Martinelli sound is how you should have spoke about Gabriel Jesus.
But I didn't get a chance
influencing
yet.
the team.
I haven't started yet.
No, but it's the way that you're holding him to that level.
He's
that's
good.
Not the case.
He's good because of him.
He's really good.
Yeah, no, he's good because of him.
So
it's like your mate coming.
Just to go back to the Luis Diaz thing a minute. So he's good because of him, but Luis Diaz is still doing all right in a really below par Liverpool team with no assistance.
Doesn't matter. Everybody needs motivation.
That's
his motivation.
Motivation.
You know, you got your Brazilian partner there. Do you know what I mean? All of a sudden, he's doing some sexy samba stuff that he weren't doing before. That's why I'm bigging him up. But the main man, go on. I'll let you say it because I know you know.
Yeah, I've said that he's decent to footy.
Yeah.
let's hear you talk about Gabriel. What's he meant to Arsenal this season?
No one wants to wear me.
What is he meant to Arsenal this season? To be honest with you, in regards to his whole play, I love Aubameyang because of what he did for us. You know, he came at a time where it was dire times for Arsenal.
Gabriel Jesus is better than Aubameyang.
He won us the FA Cup literally with his wonder goals.
Yep.
The thing I can argue with Aubameyang is when he's not scoring, he's
poor.
not really doing nothing. Very similar to Salah, right? But when it comes to Gabriel Jesus, even if he's not scoring, yes, sometimes he can frustrate me when he's doing this. He's always getting involved, and sometimes I don't want him to get involved.
It's very efficient the way he gets him. So Bobby Firmino can get involved, and there's a lot of times where you think, why are you that deep? You don't need to be. Before already got a solidified enough midfield to be there. Gabriel Jesus, he actually, his decision making is what impresses me most because he has the technical ability, he's able to pass the ball, he's strong as well, which is something that people don't give him credit for. He's really good at holding up. I think he's a better hold-up player than Nunes.
No, he is.
Mm.
Like, no doubt about it. And Nunes is supposed to be this big 6'3" striker. I think Gabriel Jesus, he's a very deceiving player because he never got into that City team or regularly started. Yeah. But when he did get given chances, I thought he was good. And I thought that City missed the mark on him. And I think Arsenal capitalised on it beautifully. And it's shown already. So if you told me Gabriel Jesus or Nunes before the start of the season, there wouldn't have been a question of who I would have said I preferred.
But now.
And now, turns out that our scouting recruitment isn't as good as we thought.
There we go. So we've got our combined 11 between Liverpool and Arsenal. Of course, the game is going to be taking place this weekend. Let's see who wins the actual real fixture. Because I think Joel somehow... He might have won the little lineup battle.
He used the score system
Jesus,
in his favour.
Yeah. Saka, Odegaard. Who did we pick there?
This was Thiago and Fabinho.
Fabinho.
No, this one's we're leaving to the audience.
That's why I'm not into the way he set up this score system, you know.
Saliba, Ben
Just
White.
because he's indecisive doesn't mean that we can't go with Fabinho.
Okay, that's funny there. It could be even.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super surprised that you allowed the Ben White one.
Let me go on my.
I mean,
listen, let's leave it to the audience.
Yeah, let's leave it to the audience. But guys, that was the combined 11 between Liverpool and Arsenal. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, turn the notifications on for the 5 YouTube channel to stay in touch with this amazing content. Let's see what happens in the real fixture. James Redmond, nice one, bro. Joel, nice one. And leave it to you guys in the comments. We're out.
Rio. We don't know how many times we need to tell you that there is only one man you can put the armband on in FPL this season. But that is Joe.
It's embarrassing.
You're a Man United fan as well.
Yeah.
But Rio's thinking there with his Man United cap on, thinking, I cannot captain Erling Haaland against my team.